Now this is where now we want to interact with our guests. So we have Madam Masharia representing KEPSA, we have Mr. Patel representing Peak Performance, we have Mr. Karundu representing Passion Biz Limited. Now, what are your questions in regards to taking entrepreneurship to the next level?
Question to Ms. Leila. Part of KEPSA, now Obama's administration said that women entrepreneurs are the powerhouse for Africa, and they have allocated monies towards women entrepreneurship. How can I access that finance and support that the Obama administration has left behind?
Thank you for the question. This is the question on so many people's minds. We're hearing such large amounts of dollars being quoted out there, but how do I get my piece? So the first thing I would do is I would invite you to really research. All of this information is public, and they're actually saying the organizations to which the funds have been designated. Of course, it's not going to be women come, right? Or youth come. All of them are going to be, some of them it's for expanding programs, like the 10,000 Women program under Goldman Sachs, or Village Capital has set aside money for entrepreneurs. Equity Bank, it's that they've been given $200 million that they will lend out to businesses. So that one is the normal way where you go, you apply for a loan at Equity Bank as an account holder, and then you can access that money. So it's not kind of floating out there, it's within those institutions. So track it, see when there's a call for applications, if that's the case, or if it's an open organization, just apply today. The second thing is that we are going to be creating a platform as a group of, you will see it and we will publicize it to just kind of, when I said we're going to be democratizing the information, we're not going to be sharing with you just the information about the funds that are available, but we're also going to try and bring some of those sessions to life, because the links that were made with other entrepreneurs and the money that has been released is only part of the wealth that came out of that forum. A lot of it was the ideas, the innovation. A lot of us sat in those sessions and our minds were open about different ways of looking at your business and how to be more effective. There were sessions, for example, on failure. That was one of my favorite sessions. What happens when your business goes wrong? And there were so many people who are great successes who told stories of how the early days were so tough. One of them had been auctioned. So we want to share some of that knowledge so that it can be of benefit to your businesses. And then the third thing I would say about accessing those funds is making sure that you're making your business better every day. I'm really appealing to all of us to start talking about getting more sophisticated businesses. There's a difference between having a business and being self-employed. There's nothing wrong with being self-employed if that's what you're setting out to do, but don't say you have a business when it's not what's really going on, right? So we really need to teach you how to partner, how to consolidate so that you can scale, because if you're one person who's doing everything with your own hands, you're not going to be able to take that business across borders or employ the number of people we believe you can. So we do want to see some sophistication, and that is also linked to the opportunities that are coming out from government for the set aside for youth and women for procurement, as well as the women's fund and the youth funds. We're hearing that money is sitting idle. And that's because we don't know how to go for it. So we're trying to increase, and there's a lot of associations working on this that we'll share with you in due course, about how to really structure your businesses so that you're able to get that set aside that it exists for you. Thanks.
All right, thank you so much. Let's get another a question from this other side.
How do you ensure that intellectual property is maintained or secured? Because I know that's one of the things that I've battled with so much.
It's a good question about intellectual property, but you've got to get started and you've got to sharpen it. You've got to know where is the property, what is it all about? So you've got to work on your product. Sometimes it's just an idea that needs to be refined. So I would say work on it, refine it. If it's something that is revolutionary, obviously don't share it out with everybody too soon. But the key thing is this, that you've got to work on your idea, sharpen it, polish it. That's number one. The second part, how do you protect it? First of all, there are several elements about protection. It's about either a patent, if it is a process. The other one, it's about if it is like a name that you need to protect. I've gone through that journey myself. What I have worked to protect with the help of my lawyer is trademarking my names, trademarking my work. One of the easiest ways of trademarking, in a way, is if you write a book, then that it's already copyrighted. It's already your own property. Okay, but if it's a name, then you've got to see a lawyer so that it is taken through the process so that you can trademark it. For example, Passion Biz is trademarked. No one can use that phrase. My lawyer gave me that unfair advantage that no one else can use the name Passion Biz because I have protected it. So the place to be is to start identifying some of these things that you want. Okay, so it is possible and it is doable, but also refine it. Work on it so that you don't protect a name or a process that is not going anywhere. Okay.
Right. Just to come up with just to make a follow-up question there. You spoke about collaboration and networking. Don't you think that's now the place where when you share your ideas, somebody might just sit down and say, aha, that's a good idea. I'll go add my 1, 2, 3 pieces and make your idea better, and then
fantastic question. And behind that is fear. You see, one of the things that holds us back is fear. The fear of our ideas being stolen. The truth is, it can happen. The reality is, it doesn't happen very often. Okay? So what I would say, so that's really the reality of the matter. So don't let fear hold you back of your ideas being stolen. The other flip side is this. The only way your idea is going to fly, the only way your idea is going to have impact is when it's shared. Can you see the contradiction? Yeah, so you can't have it both ways.
All right. Yeah. All right.
This question came up a lot during GES, and one of the things that especially investors, which is what I do now, is that I back entrepreneurs. You'll find a lot that this is a big fear that especially young entrepreneurs have. Oh, I don't want to hide. I have this brilliant idea, and someone's going to take it and run away with it. But the reality is that execution is the magic, right? Anybody can have an idea. Ideas are everywhere, but you can actually share it with 15 people and only one person will be able to turn it into action and make money out of it. So my idea, my leaning towards this is that you should share your idea, get partners on board. The other thing that especially venture capitalists say is that they back teams, not individuals. So the other thing is that they like groups of founders, right? You don't want it to have what we call the heropreneur, which is one person with everything in their head with all the answers. The idea is that you start to get people who are backing you so that you get many stakeholders in your business. You want to be in a situation where if your business goes down, you have hundreds, if not thousands of people who are fighting to keep it up because they all have a stake in it. I think that's a better approach to scaling and to moving forward.
All right. So thank you so much. Let's take 2-2. To this side, to this side.
When you're saying about protection, we'd really love to know about the examples, because I'm also in the intellectual business. I've been doing events for like 3 years now, and I just started managing artists. So with the information you're giving us, we always get this information everywhere. But the problem comes in where are the examples of lawyers? Where are the examples of people who can unpick us and then take us to the next level by guiding what we have? And then another thing is, with the GES Summit, you notice that there were many ideas being brought about. The problem comes in where, how do you consider these ideas?
Janet from Africa Nazarene. In terms of getting investors, you see, how do we actually get the right people? Because now we have our idea, but now you see this type of forums are not really a lot. The reason as to why this actually happens for this period is because of the GES Summit, which is, to be honest, is what's happening today, or this time. There's this fever going around. So how are we supposed to get these people? How are we supposed to get investors, insurance companies? Because for us students, we actually don't have the connections. And also, how do we actually join in terms of BNI, in terms of actually getting people?
Good afternoon. My name is Felista. I run a company called SoftLink Options. One of the many tech women in Kenya. My question is to the CEO of Peak Performance. A lot of us entrepreneurs get into business and assume it's our retirement plan. I would assume that having run peak performance for 16 years, it would have been your retirement plan. Why is it not?
Okay, thank you for that.
My name is Sheila Tieno. I'm from Youth and Success Association. It's a youth-led organization advocating for youth. We are giving platforms for youth, and our key people are the entrepreneurs, youth and entrepreneurship. We provide a platform that's we have a bi-monthly magazine. My key question, our focus is on the youth, and we invite investors into our businesses. What's the likelihood of our business being bought out by the investors? Probably you come in as 10% shareholder, and then it goes to 60% shareholder, and you cannot provide more finances. It goes to 80, and before you realize it, you are bought out of your own business. How do we protect ourselves, and especially the youth who are startups and with brilliant ideas, so they see their future and also help other youth to come on board? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for great question. First, let me say, listening to people here, the underlying factor that is holding people here is what's been mentioned over and over here. Here again, it's been mentioned over and over again. Fear, right? All the questions are fear-based. And if you're operating from fear, honestly, you not go far. Okay, so if you want to be successful, you've got to put fear aside. But let me explain a little bit about fear, because it's not so easy to put it aside. Fear is a good thing. When a lion comes into this room, fear really works, because it helps you produce adrenaline and cortisol, and you leave this room without realizing how you got out, right? So that's a good thing, and it was created to help us get out of danger. But then we're no longer living in an environment where there are lions all the time, or people chasing us for us to be their food, or animals chasing us for us to be their food. Now, what has happened is that the fear, how we are using fear now, is for things that could go wrong. Okay, somebody is going to steal my idea. And I think Laila has said it. Hardly anybody is going to steal your idea, because people are probably having the same fear themselves, that they may not succeed. So if you don't share if you don't share your idea with other people, or you decide I'm going to keep it or never start so that nobody steals it, then you've lost it. You're going to die with the music, and people will never know that you could sing or whatever it is you wanted to do. So let's start changing that thing about people stealing ideas. Going to the question which was specifically to peak performance, or to me, is why not make peak performance my retirement plan? If you run a business, you got to separate the business and yourself. If you don't separate your business and yourself, you could get in trouble. So pay yourself some salary and create personal wealth so that you become financially free. And you're not depending on the business. Suppose the business goes broke, you're okay. It doesn't matter. Okay, so that's what I've learned. And at this stage, let me say, if you're ever interested to learning how to create wealth and overcoming the fears that we all have about being broke one time or people stealing us ideas, you're free to come to some of the free sessions we offer. We have one this weekend at the Baptist, where we teach people what could be holding them back from becoming financially free. However, if you're to come, you'll have to book in advance, call my office, and we'll be able to see whether there's still any opening, because the class is almost full. Somebody also mentioned about the fear. The lady who talked about being taken over by investors. Mm-hmm. You better have a big cake, okay? And then you share many. Your cut is going to be bigger, right? Instead of having 90% or 99% of your business and it's a small queen cake. Allow people to come in, okay, as long as they're adding value and they're helping your business grow.
I want to respond to the question about IP and who can help you in the market. And this specifically in the area of creatives. I know that JGIP June Gashui, Intellectual Properties. I think you know her. She's an artist, but she's also a lawyer. And she works with creative entrepreneurs to help them move along and protect their ideas by structuring the business, but not necessarily protecting it, right? So I absolutely agree that if your investors are getting more and more of your business, but your business is growing and they're bringing money and expertise and moral support to you along the way, but it's becoming an empire, then 10% of the Indian Ocean is fine for me, right? As opposed to 100% of Lake Victoria. I really believe that. And you cannot pull off a very large business on your own. You need co-founders and you need a board of advisors if it's a real business. If you're self-employed, that's a different conversation. On how to assess and to help these businesses that you're working with, there's actually a very clear methodology and a lot of research internationally about what makes, when I tell you that, we know now that founders do better than individual, what we call the heropreneur, right? It's just you and you're a hero and you have all the answers. This is all because research has been done on what makes businesses succeed and what is the methodology of moving a business through. And so that's something we can talk about later, or you can find out on the internet. It takes some work. You have to do the research. But the other thing I ought to share is that there's a big movement starting about the lean startup. And what we're trying to avoid is this idea of somebody has an idea and they keep tinkering. And for years, they're keeping it to themselves. They've put a lot of money. They're researching the market. They're doing very elaborate business plans. And they never really test whether this business is going to make it in the market. Is it a viable project? So we try to get people to move their product into proof of concept as soon as possible with as little money as possible. And if you've got a mistake and the market is not taking your product, you can pivot and change it to create something else. So we want you moving into execution as soon as possible, getting it out into market, sharing it so that you're getting market feedback. And your strength is about moving very quickly to the next stage, not about hiding. It's about your competitors can't keep up because you're moving so quickly, you're innovating, and you're giving your market what it wants.
All right, thank you so much. A round of applause to our guests. We have a gift for our guests, and I'd kindly call Madam Marian Kisoso to at least appreciate our guests. A round of applause for them for coming. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming. Business Redefined will be a monthly event where we'll be bringing guests, bringing entrepreneurs together just to engage. So definitely we'll be calling, we'll be sending messages out. So please, in the next one, be there as we take entrepreneurship to the next level. So Mr. Gitao, please come and receive your guest, your gift. A round of applause to him. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Very well. Madam Masharia. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time as well. Thank you. Excellent. Mr. Karundu, thank you so much indeed. Makofi tafadhali. A very powerful session looking at the next level in entrepreneurship. Definitely, if you have a country where 82% of Kenyans are actually working in the informal sector, you definitely want to spend some time and really look at what they really need. So every month we'll definitely to different parts of this country, talking, engaging with entrepreneurs. So you don't want to miss that, only on Business Redefined here on WTV. See you next time. Thank you.